Hello, everyone. My name is Nola Lewis. I'm a senior here at Eastern, majoring in criminal justice and police studies with a minor in disaster management. Don't mind this, my notes, my talking points right there. But basically, the movies that I watched were The 7-5, the real life documentary about and Training Day, the fictional portrayal of police. And I'm basically just going to be discussing and comparing how they both portray police corruption, power, and moral sacrifice for greed. And so basically, we're going to start with 7-5. And so, the 7-5 is a real life documentary that um, details the the life of Michael Dowd, who is a New York Police Department officer who turned into a major criminal over the course of 10 years. Um, Basically, just watching that and seeing how it was so easy for him to just go straight into skimming money off the top of like drug buzz and using his power as a policeman to really just get whatever he wanted type thing. And so basically he becomes involved with a major drug dealer, I believe Mr. Perez, and he works in 75th precinct. Basically he's taking money from the drug buzz, splitting it with his fellow officers. He even turned, like, I forgot what his name was, but like the first officer that they talked about, his first partner, they literally talked about him and how it was just really shocking for me to see him give in as quickly as he did, because he was talking about how, like, he has kids, he has a wife, he wasn't working at the time, so he was taking that money, and he originally didn't want to work with him, but he ended up becoming like a really good friend with him, and they bonded outside of police things because nobody wanted to work with Dell. But he ended up getting him to come over too. And there was another one, I think his name was Chicky, I think that was his name, Chicky, who had left he had left the department, and so he called him back in one day for to come get a bag of money. He's like, we only have so much time. He's like, I have a new partner who I'm not doing anything wrong in front of, and it was basically just crazy to see how easily people are won over by the thought of money, and not even just the thought of it, like it just being there and them having the power to do something with it. I remember like seeing how the 77th precinct got busted. It was 13 cops, all arrested for police corruption, and they were all arrested for police corruption. And he was a lot of the officers who were doing stuff like Dowd was, they all like either they stopped doing it or like they left. Like Chicky, he left the department. He's like, I don't want nothing to do with that. Dowd is the only one who stayed on because he was so freaking, what's that word? I don't know. He was so freaking like obsessed, and like just he was so confident in himself. And he was just like, they just had that bust over there. They don't want another one like this. So if they did find out type of thing, he's thinking that he's like, they're gonna keep it on the down low type thing, or they're just not gonna care. Like they're gonna care obviously, but he just kept going. I don't understand why, but he played with that, and he was a rookie cop, and he was so easily brought in and stuff like that. But then I'm gonna move on to like comparing him to Alonzo Harris from Training Day. And they have a lot of similarities. They're both very charming. Like they were able to talk their way into situations, into manipulating people. Very manipulative, and also where's the word? Very manipulative and very fearless. That's the word. Very fearless. Like they literally just did not care. Like I was watching these and I was just like so shocked that even in the situations that they were in, because like they're playing with people's lives and stuff like that, and he just went for it. Like it was nothing. Like what? But like an example is like in the 7-5. Excuse me. In the 7-5 documentary, there was a domestic violence call, I think, or something like that. The woman had come to them and said like, "Oh, this man's beating on me." This man's beating on me, and they brought her back to the place, to check it out. And she grabbed some clothes and she ran, but they stayed after. They see the dude, a gigantic bag of marijuana in there, and they find a gigantic bag of like drug money underneath a couch, I believe. And so they literally just sit there. They literally take it, like not all of it, but like they literally take, I think, like 4 or 5 grand, something like that, maybe even more. And Chicky ends up taking the guns, and I'm like, yo, what? Like, it's insane to think like how many people can just become police officers and be in those positions of authority and power and just will completely abuse it because like you're thinking like, oh, they're meant to keep us safe, we can trust them to do the right thing and stuff like that, but you honestly couldn't trust them in those situations. Another similarity is, like I said, they use their badge and their power to control people and get them to do what they want. And it really just goes to show how easily money and power will draw somebody in. And then, see, they both portray police corruption. And so basically, the way that I thought about it was like, Training Day, that's fictional. And it shows like police corruption in a fictional way. But the 7-5, that's real. Like, that's real life. Like, when I saw that, like, I was like, oh, like, this actually happened type thing. Like, I think I'm just watching another show, or not a show, another movie type thing. But that's a real life thing that happened, like, in New York. Like, that man was literally just being corrupt and doing horrible things and working with drug dealers and drug lords and just doing whatever he wanted for years. And nobody, well, people knew, but like, he had other people in with him, so they couldn't take him down either. Because if he goes down, y'all going down too, because y'all right in there with him. The 7-5, it exposes, like, the way that I see it is like, that's fictional, and then this is, Training Day is fictional, and 7-5 is real. And this one kind of this shows the idea of it, but 7-5 actually shows like this happens in real life. Like, it kind of like, I feel like Training Day, you could take it as like a warning kind of to society that this is a possibility. Like, when it came out type thing, like, this is a possibility that police can be corrupt and that things like that can happen. And the 7-5 shows you that stuff like that does happen. Like, it can happen, and like, police can be corrupt, and you think that they're everything you want them to be, and like, supposed to trust them and stuff. And it just kind of, I don't know. It kind of just goes to show that like, when you're when the cops have low, I don't know how to explain it. Like, they had such low accountability for like what they were doing, like, in both, like, there was no accountability being taken type thing. And so they just things just kept happening. Like, it's literally kind of insane to think about. And 7-5, that can be seen as like, a lot of people probably watch it and think like, oh, is this how it is everywhere type thing, or is it like this is just an isolated case type thing? And I think it can be seen both ways, because me watching that, I personally don't mess with the police. Like, they cool and all that sometimes, like, but if something were to go wrong, I would call them. Yeah, that kind of thing. I feel like, it can be one and it can be the other at the same time. But like, I think in that case, I think it's also a warning kind of that this does happen, and it can happen in any police department. It literally I think it goes to show that we need better screening for police officers, better background checks, better mental checks, like, literally. And it's also like a case of you never know what somebody's going to do type thing. Like, you can guess, but you never truly know. And so, another thing that like kind of stuck out to me was just how easily morals were put to the side for the money. Like I said, with, I think it's like Kenny or Kenneth or something, but literally, like, he had a wife and kids, and I know like he was doing that because he wanted to have money for them and to be able to provide for them. But at the same time, that's dirty money. And it's like, you're putting your morals to the side, your oath to the side, for money. Like, what kind of sense does that make? And the way that they were talking about it in the 7-5, it was like, it shocked me that they were even able to talk like they're talking, because I'm thinking like, oh, they probably in jail or something. But it was just shocking to see like how easily they were talking about it, and how like it was normal. Like, he's talking about, oh yeah, when he was talking about Mr. Perez's wife and stuff, he could care less about him. He's sitting here trying to hit on his wife and stuff, and Chicky was talking about how he's like, so what are you gonna do type things, like it's my word against yours, I'm a cop type thing. He didn't say that to him, but like that's literally what he was thinking, and it was just kind of insane to see. But I just think like I don't know. They both were really good, and it was interesting to see how they painted corruption and power and moral compromise. And so like I just think they both paint a really good picture of how how policing can be, and how people can be. And I think putting them together like this was a really good idea to show you both sides of what happens and what can happen. And yeah.